I decided to do a podcast because what I'm seeing throughout the state is that we have a lot of Democrats that are just real like disenchanted with the party in general. And and I think what's happening is that uh we have a lot of liberals and it's just how they're treating like different people within the Democratic Party that it's just, so we can get the viewpoints of different people and how they feel and especially with the younger people and asking them questions too is like what do you see that you want what changes would you want in our party? What do you see the future of the party? Even like that it's been a hot issue is like what happened to the Republican headquarters in Albuquerque being, partially burnt down. And
Oh,
we're,
was it?
yeah, it was blamed on the Democratic Party. But if it was a Democrat, that's not a very cool thing to be doing because we just don't want to be a part of any form of violence or any form of destruction because then it just pushes us back. It just makes us look bad. So whoever it was, I don't know if they'll ever find them, but more than likely they will. But
I mean, it probably wasn't someone that was, if it was arson, it probably was, it's like sanctioned by the Democratic Party, but it might have been a Democrat. I mean,
yeah,
Democrats are creating violence all over the country right now.
It could be anybody, and so they can't sit there. I was listening to the Republicans today and blaming, the Democrats. I mean, they don't have any proof. I mean, what was written on the wall or whatever, that could be anybody. You can be a
it could.
Republican and you had somebody deported and you're upset over it, you know, can be anybody. But
Yeah, and that's true.
yeah. Um, I well, it can be anybody. I just feel like they need proof, and I think the Republicans, I mean, they didn't acknowledge, the January 6th insurrection. I mean, it was okay to do that, and they never denounced it, and then this
Yeah.
happens to them, and they act like, it's the end of the world, and all the Democrats are the worst people ever, and I just don't agree with none of that, and it could be a person. It was what was that young man, Pena? He just went to prison for shooting at Democrats, remember? And
Yeah.
I didn't hear them denouncing that part, you know?
Mm-mm.
So, I'm just saying, they're hypocrites, you know? It's okay if they do it, but it's not okay if something happens on this side, which we don't know and we don't approve of any of that. I don't, I don't approve of any violence at all, but I'm just saying, um we don't need to throw our people under the bus before we know who did it. Because the
Yeah,
Democrats are so quick to judge. They go, it's the Democrats. Oh, and we take blame. I don't think we should take blame. I don't
I
agree on that.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree with you. I think they need to find the person and see who they are. And they're going to find them because now with technology, they can zoom in every which way unless they were smart and they knew what they were doing. But the thing is, like, I agree with you too, is like we can't just blame us right away. Megan is new within the party, and I wanted her to give us like a little outline of like what she sees as being a young person with the party. What does she see for the future for herself with the party? And so, and I'd like you all to engage with her because I think this is how we're gonna like start like figuring out what the problem is. And this is something that I want to do like not just in Santa Fe, but like going to like even to San Juan County, Carmel, is to, with a group of people. So we sit down and we start having roundtable talks where we could start figuring out what do we need to do within your county, every county. And it's about us gathering and talking about it and getting, setting like the ground rules of like how do we get people back into the party to get motivated. Go
We
ahead.
we have a new county chair. Yes, Linda Corwin's our new county chair. Ed
Oh,
Mark, vice chair. And we have 8 wards, and we have all but one that, which is Ward 3, that got represented, and so we have that many ward chairs. Um, we have rules committee now, credentials committee. We're set to go, and we're ready to rock and roll. So yeah, soon we can do that, Letitia.
to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that, everything is working out in a positive way. And, I know what you guys all went through, and, I give you all so much credit in San Juan County because you did a good job with what you had, what tools you had.
Thank you very much for all your help as well. Yes,
I
thank you.
thank you. So Megan, do you want to introduce yourself so everybody knows who you are and give us a little spiel about yourself and what you see with the party, what you think that the party should go in what direction. So the floor is all to you. And if we have anybody wants to ask a question, I'll let you know, okay?
I mean, just a very short intro. I grew up all over the world because I was an oil brat. My dad worked for Exxon. Um, I joined the Navy when I was 28, was in for 8 years. Um, and considered a disabled veteran now, and I volunteer my time a lot. I wouldn't, I don't know that I'm new to the Democratic Party. I don't know that I've ever, I, this might hit on what we're talking about. I've never really identified with the Democratic Party. I'm just pragmatic. They're the party that mostly aligns with my values, and I'm not going to, vote for the Green Party because that's just throwing away my vote. Um, so I don't know that I've ever, I mean, really, if there were other choices, I may not be a Democrat. I don't know. I just prefer to not really label anything. Um, I don't know. I mean, I'm 45. I have been voting Democrat for about 25 years. Um, I just see a bunch of people. I don't, I, s- it's to me, the Democratic Party is just very out of touch with its actual base. And that's why they lost the working voters. Um, I mean, maybe questions are better because I'm bad at coming up with
Well,
ideas.
also, what do you think that because we talked yesterday and about the benefits, your benefits and how you're like because you receive disability benefits from the VA. So how does
Yeah,
that affect you if they got rid of it?
I hate what's going on in the country now. I never thought in my lifetime I would have to like start coming up with a backup plan to getting permanent veterans disability benefits, but now I feel a need to. And that's just very kind of sad. And in the country, I mean that's more what the Republicans are doing. But um,
Maybe Mike, can you help her? The benefits of what's going on with everything in this world. What is your take so that you and Megan could talk about the VA?
I'm pissed. I'm mad. I, that's why I went to that rally for the vets, the roundhouse, and I've been talking to everybody that I can. That a lot of people. I just saw a thing today. This lady, Navy lady, who was in the Gulf War. She's an older lady. She had her benefits stopped from the VA because I didn't understand this, but the personnel office, this national personnel office handles veterans benefit payments, not the VA. So she was on full disability and she hasn't been paid this month, and they don't know when they're going to fix it because they found that yeah, she was right, but now it's trying to get somebody to fix her problem. So she's going to be without income for several months. So if
Oh
that
my
starts
God.
happening to veterans, it's going to be crazy. I just saw that today.
Oh my God. Do you think it was what happened like when they first started doing their moves where they did the cut with the social programs and the VA portion was part of it for the medical portion? Do you think that
Yeah,
was the cause of it?
that was just the tip of the iceberg because those people and I know I know how, I don't know exactly how, but I know that I found out that it's the way the military works. Nobody will do something without getting an order from who they're supposed to get orders from. So like for me to get my glasses, it's been like almost a year. I finally going to get an appointment because the community care, which supports vets to use doctors in their area instead of the VA. Instead of driving to Albuquerque, I use a local doctor. they get their orders from the like the optical lab at the VA. Well, the VA wasn't sending the orders to them, so they couldn't do nothing for me. But every time I called, they would refer me to the community care, and I kept saying, and finally, I got a patient advocate, and they took care of it because they're required to respond to any inquiry from a patient's advocate. So I learned something about it, but it's been a long time. I mean, I've been without glasses for 6 months now, so I'm finally gonna get a new prescription.
So right now you guys are in limbo then. It's just like waiting to see what's going to happen and then you'll take the next step. So, you know, with your benefits, I mean, you depend on them because that's how you're living and that's how you're surviving, isn't it, Megan? Or
I mean, I personally would be able to be okay without them. I'd have to start cutting into like my inheritance. But um most people are not. Most people would suddenly all of a sudden not be able to pay their mortgage and things like that.
so
So
I have
go ahead.
I have a question. Um, do you think that if you talk to Senator Heinrich, that you could get some answers? Because when my brother-in-law, he passed away, he had cancer, but they were having issues getting into the doctor here in Farmington, the veterans, and we'd get one doctor at the veterans office, here, and then they ship them off somewhere and they'd end up with no doctors. So I called his representative, Jim Dumont from here in Farmington, and he called my niece back and told her that they would put in an order for them to go to Durango to a certain doctor, and he helped my brother-in-law, but he works for Senator Heinrich, and he does help the veterans. Just
hmm.
Yeah,
yeah,
but I think the problem is like the concern is like if they break up the VA, then the thing
oh
is they don't
yeah,
know how it's going to be managed because how is each state going to take on their services because it's a national service. So that's the thing is like,
yeah,
all that's going on right now and I think this is really good because we throughout the state, people are talking about how are we going to provide resources because in every county, it's a different problem, but it all relates to the same issue. So anything that's cut, it's going to affect everybody, personally,
that's
and
true.
especially the ones that get Social Security. And they're
Hmm.
telling me, they're like, that's money I put into. It's like, and they want to take it away from me. And I was like, I agree with you. It's your own money. And and they're saying that they're not going to, but like when Michael got, remember that day, Megan, you told me about the day that first day that they did the first cut, Megan had said, well, did you know that the veterans had no medical treatment on that for 6 hours. But then when Michael went in to go see, like he finally saw a doctor after a year, is that all his files that were in there were missing because could have had a glitch when they did that and they shut everything down. It probably affected everybody because the person that they got for the VA here in Santa Fe, they got a nurse practitioner and he had to sit down and re-enter all the stuff that Mike had in there because a lot of his information was gone. So, that's a big issue. If they're going to cause those kind of situations, then it's going to be a ripple effect, and it's not going to just affect one person. It's going to affect thousands of veterans throughout the United States and outside of the United States. So, this is like a serious issue because I tell everybody it's getting scary because I don't know what the plan is. And then now with that election, did you see the election for the Supreme Judge or back east where
Yeah,
Musk was $1 million?
yes,
Seriously, to get people, and it's outrageous.
Getting back to that, where we're talking about what the Democratic Party can do.
Okay.
For 4 years during Trump's first term, and then for 2 months while he basically destroyed the Constitution, nobody did anything nationally, statewide. If you called Senator Heinrich, you just got like because I did a few times, you just got like a form letter back. You just like it was he had very nice staffers answering the phone, but you were just getting like a very blanket response. And it wasn't even until today when Cory Booker decided to start a filibuster that a Democrat actually decided to stand up and be like, hey, this is wrong, you know? And I mean, why, and people are seeing this. And so it's not changing their politics, but it's not making them want to continue to support the Democratic Party. Like when 20-year-olds are walking into Social Security office and learning every American in the nation's Social Security number, why isn't every Democrat in the Senate and House standing in front of the building locking them? People do not feel like the Democrats are doing anything for them right now. Like why are you not doing more to preserve the Constitution?
Yeah.
And it's so it's top all the way down. I mean, when your county Democratic Party office is only open for 10 hours a week, you're thinking, well, what the hell are they doing? Like what are they doing for the rest of the week that's not fighting for my rights and the Constitution? So people are very disenfranchised with the Democrats, and the Democrats really are not doing anything to fix that.
I
Truthfully.
think I agree with you, and I mean, on a lot of stuff, but I truly feel that we have such a good message that we could do, because I was watching, I don't know, maybe it was The View, but um, the point is that we do not message what we don't talk well enough. We don't scream it out. We don't, pound our feet. We got to do something. I agree with you, but it's like right now the economy, we could be out there, the economy's not good, and he said he was going to fix it on day one. He hasn't done anything he said he was going to do. So Trump. So we could be doing all that, but here in this county, well, we usually go to Durango. We had a huge protest here, but there's a huge one Saturday. So we've had a lot of protests here, and it's against them, against Elon, against Trump. And so we have to get our message out there, that, and continue doing that. But, you see the town halls back east, and people are throwing fits to the, Republicans. They're telling them, you guys are wrong. Look what they're doing to us. So the Republicans feel the same way as we do. They feel like they're
Right.
not stepping up for them. So, yeah.
Well,
So it's
you
hurting
know what?
everybody.
Yeah, and you know what, when you said that, one of the individuals that was going to come on, so she was a Republican, she turned to a Democrat, but she told me, I love my Republican Party, certain things. I love what the Democrats do, but there's things that both do that I hate. And she's told me too, she goes, I'll tell you one thing where your problem's coming from is, she goes, you have a lot of the liberals, and the liberals, what they're doing is they're telling you what to do and how to do it. But if you feel it's not right, that you don't want to do it. We have to look at the whole picture to see, okay, is that really a wise thing for us to do? Because like even for us, they wanted to do and I told Megan, because I was telling Megan that they wanted to do a rally in the sovereign nation, and then that's not polite to go in there and want to rally at I know that the car dealerships on the reservations, so yeah, but the thing is that you cannot go in there and discriminate, the Native Americans, because we've already done it so many times. So we got to understand that we have to be more sensitive to the environment that we're going to go protest in, and we got to make sure that we're not doing it in a way that we're being malice, that we're doing it because it's an issue that we want to stress out. And because also when she was talking to me, she goes, I'll tell you right now with the Republican Party, because she still has a lot of friends in there, and she said the Republican Party, they do want that, they want to rebuild, where they did thought that he was going to do it correctly, that he was going to start, taking each division and looking at it, and going in there and doing an audit and doing the right stuff that you're supposed to do, and then doing the cuts where it has to be done. But they didn't think that he was going to come in and be a brute and just get rid of people. She said that now the Republicans are mad about that because now they're hurting people. He said they're hurting people now, and that's not what they want. They want government cuts and all that, but not the way he's doing it. So now the Republicans are coming back and fighting back, where they're electing Democrats in areas like Pennsylvania. that has not seen a Democrat in what, 140 some years. So they're flexing their muscle, they're trying to help us in a sense. But and the thing is, like, it's not the megas, it's the moderate Republicans
Yeah.
are coming in force to say, stop it. You're hurting people
Yeah.
now, and that's not what we believe in. So I
But
think, go ahead. No, go
what
ahead.
I'm hearing from people on the ground is that, like, we keep talking about who's getting elected I'm a firm believer in protests. I go to many of them, but the people right now are terrified and they're fed up and they are like, the time for protests is over. And who cares who gets elected in 2 years if there's no more United States government? That they want to see the act the Democrats that are in office right now doing something. They want to see them be in Mitch McConnell, and they're not. And it's like shocking that there's a lot of people just allowing these things to happen with very little resistance. And it's the Democratic Party is currently losing people. I guarantee it, because they are so mad that they feel like nobody's doing anything. And it may be that maybe they're doing more stuff behind the scenes. Maybe we don't know about things, but that's always been the Democratic Party's problem, is for the last at least decade, is messaging. We aren't telling people what we're doing. We're not telling people how we're doing it. And people just assume that they're doing nothing. And they see the Constitution being torn up and the Democrats doing nothing.
Exactly.
Well,
That's
And
what people
I
are seeing right now.
go ahead.
I think that they are doing a lot right now, because I listened to Teresa. I saw her in Santa Fe, and she was telling us everything she did. I mean, it's a bunch. It's a lot of different bills and on and on. But it's hard. The thing is, they have to get out every single day, and I mean, they're busier than heck. I mean, she lost her brother in January and came for 3 days. That's all she was here for 3 days, for a funeral, and then they had to go straight back to DC. But, she told us everything that they've been doing. They just don't get a chance to get out there and talk about it, and maybe they need, some of their people, like if she had somebody in each county talking about it all the time, and she
Yeah.
does very well. I mean, she even does she has a thing on, a phone conversation with everybody. She'll call you and you can get on and ask questions. I mean, she does a lot, I think. So I'm just saying, because
And that's good
it
input.
yeah,
And maybe the
yeah,
problem is just messaging, because
it's
we don't
messaging.
have someone standing at the top of the party shouting about all the things that they've
Yes.
done and taking credit for all the things that we've done. Like, we need someone out there. Like, if everybody believes Trump when he says he fixed the economy, or the economy was good because of him, because we didn't shout at the top of our lungs, hey, we fixed the COVID economy.
Mhm.
We did this. Nobody's hearing from us. And I
Right.
believe you that you, when you spoke to her, she's doing all the things, but it doesn't matter if nobody knows.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, she's doing nothing if I don't. So maybe that's the thing we need to focus on, is making sure people know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's where it comes to the chair of the party. The chair of the party should be stressing out those accomplishments to everybody, and doing press releases, and being more engaged, because if the congressional leaders need the chair to do that, that's what we have to do. And then we spread the message to the different counties. But the thing is, I think Megan is hitting on the right on the nutshell, because I'll tell you right now that this is very common that I'm hearing throughout the state as I travel, is that there's as people get elected, they're gone. And as things happen, they're not speaking up. And I think right now we need to start speaking up. Even if we hurt people's feelings, we need to tell people, okay, this is what's happening, this is what we need to do, and let's do it. And I think if we could come up with a plan for that messaging, because I'll tell you, the whole part is messaging, messaging, message. Everywhere I go is about a message, and nobody's hearing nothing. So I guess they get really frustrated. And then too, like Megan was even saying, because she looked on the website for the Democratic Party, and our party is only open 2.5 hours, 3 times a week, 10 hours. and that's how she got the 10 hours, is that we need to have that office open like 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And no matter who it is, there has to be somebody in there. And then too, like I've heard in the past that even like people are saying, I volunteered, but no one ever got back with me. So I mean, we're not messaging, but we're not even answering a message that comes in to the office. So I mean, so the morale for a lot of Democrats is really like not happy. And it's not just, and Megan's one person that's, speaking out her frustration. And if we had
Yeah, I'm sorry, I
other
am
people, then
frustrated, but
no, this is good because we need to hear this because this is something that is important to everybody.
Well,
it
it's going
is.
to take all of us to fix it. I mean, and I don't
Yes.
know if we can, but for each county is going to have to step it up. And, we can't fix everything, but you can work in your own county and, run for office, be a ward chair, be a ward vice chair, be on the rules committee, run for county chair, whatever. But here in San Juan County, we formed that PAC and we would put a message in the paper to encourage people. We put a message for all our candidates because we were shut down. We can do
Yeah.
it. And now we're going to do it because now our party's open and we have a whole new executive committee and we can do that. But it takes all of us. So if we're going to, everybody's got to step it up. All hands on deck. It's not like, oh, I don't like to
Yeah,
do that. So um, it's so nice to meet you, Megan, and I'm hoping to
nice
see
to
you
meet
out
you.
there and and get involved and stuff. And I'm hoping that the veterans don't lose any of that because everybody, they've served their time and thank you for your service. And but you deserve your benefits. So that's ridiculous. But see, that's the other thing. How do you fight Trump for that? Even the senators, if he does an executive order and if they get rid of people, how do you do it? I mean, people are, there's things going through the courts, but how do you think that's going to work out since he handpicked everybody, all the judges?
Yeah,
So,
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think he'd listen even if they said. I mean, I don't think he'd listen anyway. But
well, yeah, well,
and he
maybe
wouldn't
we
have
can,
to because he's handpicked the head of the F. I mean, who enforces what the judges say? The
yeah,
FBI. So, but I think you hit on a good point too, because like I had never even heard of like the elections for the chair of the parties in the county or the state until like 2 weeks ago. And then I started Googling it and I couldn't even find any information on that. And I feel like if people felt more included in actually picking the party, if people knew that elections were going on or knew that they could run or knew like, but none of that, it's like it's so kept, at least for Santa Fe County, when I was trying to find information about it, it was like impossible to find information out about it. And um I feel like everybody in the county should be aware of what is going on because that's why people say they always feel excluded from the Democratic Party is exclusionary because there's all these things going on that nobody knows about. I didn't even.
And that should change. That will change because you're not the only person. I just heard that this past weekend and there was a lady that I was talking to and she's like, "Yeah, I want to be active," but she goes, "No one says anything. It's like a hidden party. It's like it's their own party." And so, that was brought up to me just like 3 days ago. And so I think we need to make it more aware. We need to publicize it more. We need to do more multimedia out there to like, let everybody know that this is what's going on in our party. This is what we're planning on. This is having an event and be more inclusive with everybody because you just said something that everybody else is saying too, Megan. So this is, and you know what? Carmela, you know what you guys did, you're an asset because you can help us with your ideas when you were closed because you figured it out. And so we could look at what your platform is and we can build upon it because you guys did a really good job of not having the support of the party because you were shut down, but you took it and you ran with it and you created uh an organization to help you get out the vote, and then you went steps further where you notified people, you kept people in
and
communication to know what the
yeah,
party's doing, and that's a plus. That's a
And
really good thought.
Diane
Yes.
Cook that's on there can vouch for that because she did the social media and she would send out all the notices for anything. And if you want to talk about that, Diane.
Well, I was going to ask Megan what county she's in, and it's apparently Santa Fe. I get the Santa Fe little Democrat Party newsletter, and it is wonderful. Is there any way that you can get on the mailing list for that? It gives all kinds of information.
I will look into that, but again, that seems exclusionary. Why doesn't everybody that lives in the county get that newsletter?
I don't know. See, I don't know
That's
anything
what
about
it's
that
like.
county.
That should be a newsletter that goes to every single person in Santa Fe County. Not like you need to be on the mailing list.
I don't know, Letitia. You're in Santa Fe. Do they have just a Democrat Party mailing list from vote builders?
They have a mailing list that they I think they started off as through the CCC members. So as they build up their database, that they got the emails from that area. But I do agree with Megan is that we need to like outreach to like all the Democrats, and that may be that we have to do a mailing to everybody, at least once or twice
Well,
a
I
year,
think, yeah, I think that's one of
giving
the
them
things.
information, how to
Uh-huh.
get involved with the party.
Well, I think for San Juan County, one of the things we might try to do is once we get our hands back on our county mailing list, we'll probably update it, improve it, and then we will just send out stuff. And I think we might try to model our monthly newsletter on what Santa Fe does. It is an excellent newsletter. I'll probably get it because I volunteered through Santa Fe to do phone banking for Teresa last fall, and I did a
Oh,
lot of phone banking, and that must be where I got on the list because I don't live in Santa Fe County. But they
But
they have an excellent newsletter, and I guess I didn't realize that not everybody gets it.
yeah.
no,
And
I've never gotten it. But that's I mean, I constantly get mail in my mailbox from Republicans. They don't care if you're a Republican voter or not. They are sending out mail to every single person that lives in this city. We should the Democratic newsletter shouldn't just be going out to a select group of people. It should going out to every single mailbox in this city.
Do you know who your party chair is in Santa Fe?
Henry.
Henry, yeah.
Is it on any kind of a website or anything? I think that's the person that needs to be contacted.
Well, I think what she's trying to say is that the Republican Party doesn't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. They're going to send you stuff. They're going to keep you in the loop, and they're going to educate you on the issues. And actually, they're training.
Their point of view of the
Yeah,
issues.
yeah. So yeah, and I can understand that. So I've been analyzing the Republican website and our website, and I'll tell you right now, the Republican website is so much better than ours. And it's friendly. It's like it's and we and maybe
Informative.
that's what we need to do to our website is make it more friendlier and start hitting the Republicans too. I mean, it's just we can't be afraid no more. We have to do it. We just have to like lay a new ground rules and we have to go for it because if we want to rebuild this party, we cannot be afraid of the Republicans because I'll tell you right now, when and Lucas will come on one time in the next one that we have is that his mom votes Democrat, but she was, and it just happens. Whatever your parents are, that's what you end up being, a Republican or a Democrat. And like she became a Republican, and now she changed to a Democrat. So now her mom's going to change to a Democrat, but her dad won't. But her dad does vote. He votes for the Democrats. So that means we should start doing what the Republican Party is doing because it's working. It's working.
The Republicans right now are saying, "Oh, you're a Democrat? We don't care. Here's our like." They're just reaching out to every single person in America. Like they're just I get Republican ads on MSNBC during the local ads, like for New Mexico. I get like they are I mean, I guess it might just go back to the messaging. Like they are just flooding America with their message, and the Democrats are not. And I really think that's why they partly, not in totality, but a very large portion of why they won so many seats is that they just over informationed everybody with their point of
Yeah.
view.
Well, we should have learned from that because we lost. And so now we need to do the same damn thing as they did.
Right.
And
That's
because
what I'm
they
saying.
did podcasts, they did this, they did that. So we do have to do better, but we need to learn from it. And now's the time. There's a moment right now that's good for us because Trump is screwing up everything, and Elon is doing the same thing. So we need to do it now. And that's why I'm saying, but it has to start on the county level, because
Okay.
if you overwhelm yourself, and because I always got too excited and thought we can't do anything, but we can. So we can start here at this, at your county, and talk to your county chair and tell her your ideas that you just told us, and tell her what the Republicans are doing, and get her informed and say, maybe you can work on that project, that committee, and say, sign me up and I'll do that for you guys. You're young, you're smart, intelligent. You could do that. And you could say,
Yeah.
why don't you see, that's an idea. But
And
I
I could
agree
email the
with you,
chair.
Megan. I do agree with you because, from watching and the people they interviewed that voted for Trump, well, we saw him, even my grandson. Well, I watched this podcast and this grandma, and I go, that's not true. And he said, but they believed it. It wasn't true, but they believed it because he was on Rogan, he was on this, he was on that. Well, the kids watch those podcasts. So those kids, we lost those kids, the younger generation.
Mhm.
So we got to do the same thing now, but we need the young people to step it up, and they're smarter than us and they do better on computers. I mean, I'm talking for myself, not the rest. But I mean, the younger generation does better on computers. And so that's why, my ward chair, where I didn't run this year, and it's a Navajo ward, he's in his 20s. And I said, Dylan, I want you to run, represent the Navajo Nation. And he did. He won. I'm his vice chair. But there you go. He's sharp on everything. And I agree with you, though, Megan. And so I think you should do that and bring it to their attention. We need to. We need to shout it out, and we need to do something. And we need to reach out to everybody, including you. They need to do that. So thank you for telling us that. We all need to work on it.
Yep.
Anyway,
And you
that's
know what? This is Well, no, that's good that you said that, because even your grandson, that's good to know, because we need to know this, because this is our plan. We're building a plan to come back full force. And the only way we're going to do it is by us talking to everybody. It doesn't matter your age. You just tell us, you got to tell us, because, they won. And if they continue winning, then our state is going to be a red state. So we need to start doing what they're doing, the groundwork. And we need to start like at the county level, and and whatever's happening at the county level has to happen at the state level. So we need to build plans for every single county, and then the up here, which should be down here, because they're going to rebuild back up. So the top part, if you see what I did a graph, but I flipped it to where the chairs at the bottom and the most important people are the SEC members, but on top of the SEC members, there's the CC members. And that's another level that we're forgetting, because you guys got it, because you had to come up with new ground rules on how you could get people out in San Juan County. So I think we should use you guys as a pilot, because finding out what you had to do when you had no resources, and you did it, and then you flipped it, you brought it from the bottom, you started at the grassroots, and you worked your way upward and not downward. And that's how we have to do it. And every county needs to stay on their plan. And maybe we could sit down and you could dish out a plan to me, and then we give you credit for it, because I'm a firm believer is when someone creates something, they deserve the credit for it, because it's their idea, their plan, and let's try it. And then as we could intermingle this with other counties, then, because like, and the whole thing too is like everybody wants, it says Santa Fe, Albuquerque, and Las Cruces. And I'm telling everybody, no, 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 no. It's our rural communities, because if we lose our rural areas, we're toast. It doesn't matter about the metropolitan cities, we're toast. And then two, the messaging, they're constantly messaging, so we're toast. So I don't want to be toast no more. I want to be action and doing it because and we need to like work with counties that went through the last 2 years of frustration and unhappiness and not getting the support they needed that but like I will always relate back to you guys because you guys did it. Your numbers were excellent, the turnout. I mean, in a heavily Republican area, you did good. And then two,
Well,
we need to go into those chapter houses. That's another
yeah.
thing. In our area for the Navajo Nation, we need to go in those chapter houses because we need to find out exactly what the Republicans are telling them so that we can help them and make them become Democrats. But we got to keep to our word. If we say we're going to help them, we have to help them. We cannot just say it and then
Well,
blow them off.
Well, we did that a lot because we helped Joseph Hernandez, District
Uh-huh.
2, and he won. But we were there every weekend. We were at the flea markets. We were at the chapter house. He even had his own office, and it was just outdoor. They built it, and it was at his cousin's house. But we'd have meetings on Sundays. I mean, we'd all take food and whatever. But we were out there forever. And the thing is, they were telling us that the Republicans are going out there. They are, and some of the people, what they really scared them about was when the plant closed and they said,
Yeah.
the Democrats shut down your job or the coal mines, and that's where they all worked. And I said, yeah, but there's other things you guys can do. And now they've opened a school and they gave them so much money to go to school here to learn different things. And I was talking to a young man, and he was telling us that he became a teacher or whatever, but he got trained, he got whatever, they're
Hmm.
helping them. So you can do something else other than that. And I told one
Yeah.
of the girls that was telling me that her husband worked there and that's why they voted Republican because the Democrats had taken that away. And I said, yeah, but they're going to also be very sick, breathing all that the stuff from coal mining and whatever. So
Yeah.
your health isn't good. So there is other jobs you can do and make just as much money, but you've got to go to school. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's
But
where they got them. They signed them on.
well, that's good to know because you see, you're figuring out the missing links, and those are the things that we need to know. Because, like Megan says, they're flooding every county with news. They don't care who you are. They want your vote, and they're doing it whatever the possibly they can do. And so now we need to like really, really, we have to work hard because is that they message, they send out to everybody, and they go out there. And what do we do? Anybody got an idea what we do?
We do the
We're not
same
doing
thing.
it.
We
Yeah.
got to keep
Well,
doing the same thing,
yeah,
but
we
we
have
did
to.
it. We did it in this county with us being
Eh,
shut down.
okay.
So
So
I
we'll,
know everybody else can do it.
okay.
Yeah.
I
So
think that's
that's why I
good.
said we should use you as a model because of you already have done it. Why invent the wheel again when you've already done it and you already have a roadmap that we could mimic it and really go out there and really do something because that's the problem is that you shut down. Maybe we should shut down other counties so they can work as hard as you. No, just kidding. But I'm just saying is like you guys did it,
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you
Okay.
didn't expect nothing from us. And I think
Well, before this election this time around,
uh-huh.
we phone banked and literally each ward, and we had ward planning meetings because we weren't legal to have a ward meeting because we are 8 wards instead of 5, so hadn't been voted in. So what we did is all of us got on. We were allowed to get on Vote Builder, print our sheets, and we had meetings. I had one here for my ward. Everybody had one, and then we went over it, and then we got those sheets from Vote Builder and we had phone banking. I didn't have one here. I just did it on my own and would give a sheet to Dylan because he's in Nageezi. But we called people and people came in, people, and we had 136 people at our CCC meeting. And that's a lot for this county
Good.
because it's a red
That's
county.
really good.
S-
That is super good.
Yes,
And I'll tell you right
yes, it
now
is.
that that is an awesome number because I go to some of these counties and you have maybe 10, 15 maybe 30. Albuquerque might have been the amount that you guys had, but that's a big county. So you would think that there would be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And maybe I'm going to say there's maybe about, how many people do you think were there, Michael, at the Bernalillo? Maybe about 300?
Yeah, 250, 300.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that
right
should have
around.
been, that
But
should
that
have been a
includes the
lot higher
speakers.
because,
That was all the politicians, everybody.
and we're talking about the biggest county, and there's only 250, 300 max out of a county of what? How many people there? Like 600,000? How many people are in Albuquerque, Mike?
I think they're like 700,000.
Okay, so that's a big number, and only that many people participated. So that's telling you, did we even put a message out? Because there should have been several thousand people there. And so that's the thing that we need to find out from you, from San Juan County. We need to really sit down and talk about what you really did, because you're the missing link to the whole picture of what the party needs to do, because you've already done it, and you even went basic. I mean, figure what you guys did. I mean, where you had your meetings, you built a little shed and you had meetings in there. That's what the party's all about. It doesn't matter where you're
Yeah.
at, is you're there. That's the key component. You're there. So plus, because this is what we need to hear. This is, this what we're talking about right now is really important, because this is, if I get elected as state chair, this is what I plan on doing, because I'm not the answer for the problem, but I'm the fixer to help the problem get fixed. So by all the ideas and giving credit to the people that are doing it, this is how we rebuild our party. It starts right here. It's like us sitting at the kitchen table, like you guys. You guys sat there and you developed a plan, and that's where it starts. It doesn't start in a beautiful office. It starts right at the basic ground level. So I think what you guys did, and I think this is really awesome that what San Juan County did, and the nice thing about it is we learned a lot about Megan, about her issues, because you opened our eyes, and this is what we need to hear, because you're a young person and this is things that you're seeing, and it's frustrating you. And now we need to fix it, because we need to start talking to the young people, because the young people are going to be the party to take, you'll be taking it over, but you need us to guide you. And so if we don't have no young people, how are we going to guide anybody?
Yeah.
So thank you, Megan. Thank you, Carmel. Because you know what? I'm glad that you expressed what you guys did, because that makes a big difference. It really does.
Yeah, thank you for the input. It gives me a very good starting point to start looking at like how to make up a plan to maybe present to the chair, to email him or something. Yeah.
There you
And I
go.
can give you all that information. Yeah. And I think if the plan that I create will represent a county, I think all counties could use it, because you gave me a lot of insight. And so that's really
Yes, thank you.
awesome. Yeah, thank you so very much.
But
You're welcome. And thank you guys too.
yeah.
I think
And
Megan has to go now.
Yeah, I
and
have to head out though.
Let's wrap it up. And then anybody have any other things they want to say, comment, anything happening in your counties that you need us to know?
I think we just need to stay positive
Mhm.
and,
Okay.
but we do have to be aware there is a problem. We can't just pretend it isn't there, like Megan's telling us there's a problem, but we do need to be positive and try to work together and be kind to one another. That's all I
That's
can
true
say.
too. That's very good.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Agree.
That-
Thank
Yeah.
you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
thank you, everybody. And